Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. Now this week I'm going to be beginning to show my George Harrison vinyl collection. So I've done Paul McCartney and this is the first week of George Harrison. Now today I'm going to be showing you my singles collection. I haven't got a huge amount, I mean it's nothing like Paul McCartney's, but it's a fair collection I think. So I'm going to begin with My Sweet Lord, and this is the original picture cover here from the UK. Got the Apple serial number down there. And I'll show you the back. There we go. There's the back. And this is on the Apple label here, of course. And this came out in 1970 and is one of my favourite George Harrison solo songs, written by Harrison. And the B-side is a very good song, What Is Life? Also written by Harrison. And this is the reissue of My Sweet Lord in a different picture cover, which is more similar to the cover for All Things Must Pass, the album. And here is the back. And this one is also on the Apple label, but you can see it's a later Apple label which has a much brighter or lighter colour rather than the dark green of the original pressing. The fact it's got In My Records Limited shows that this is a later copy. I believe this came out in about 1976, although I could be wrong there. And it's got the same B-side as the original as well. Now here we have a third copy of My Sweet Lord, and this is also an original pressing. However, unlike my last copy, this has a solid centre, whereas my other one had a push-out centre. So that's just a slight variation, but it's just the same in every other respect. And this is Bangladesh, again in an Apple sleeve. It came out in 71. I think George Harrison was writing some really excellent stuff in the early 70s. And then there's Deep Blue on the B-side. And here is another of George Harrison's more well-known singles, and that is Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth, in a very nice Apple sleeve. And hopefully you'll be able to see that the Apple label is gradually getting a lighter shade of green with every single that goes by. This one was in 1973. And it's backed with Miss Odell there. Miss Liddell, there we go. And then here's just another copy of that same single. So, nothing really interesting there. And here we have the Dark Horse single, which isn't on the conventional Apple label, even though it's still an Apple record. It's got this George Harrison label here, and this was released in 1974 from the Dark Horse album. And it's backed with Harry's On Tour Express. And here is a picture cover for Dark Horse. It's got the lyrics on the cover there, as you can see. And it's got the lyrics on either side as well. And the actual record is just the same. And there it is, same as before. And here we have a single on a similar type label, also from 1974, and this is Ding Dong. And the B-side to that is I Don't Care Anymore. And here's just a duplicate copy of that. And now we're back to the conventional Apple label for a single called This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying. And I know this single's quite a hard one to get actually. I haven't seen too many copies of this one. Or certainly compared to some of his other singles anyway. And this came out in 1975 from the Extra Texture album. And it's backed with My Love. And here we have a George Housen picture cover here. Nice colourful front. And there's the back. So the single is called You from the Extra Texture album. And I'll show you the label, which is not on the conventional Apple label either. Here it is. It's on this really cool, colourful label, which is the same type of design as the Extra Texture LP label. There's a few different ways you can look at that. And the other side is Read All About It. And here we have another of my favourite George Housen singles, and this is Blow Away from his self-titled album. And the picture cover for this is very similar to the one that's on the LP cover. And here's the back of the sleeve. It's backed with Soft Touch. And the label is on... It's George Housen's Dark Horse label, this single, so... There we go. Pretty much all the George's stuff from here on out is going to be on this label. And this was released in 1979. There's the back. And here is another of Harrison's latest singles. And it's a very good one in my opinion. It's called All Those Years Ago. Here's the back. With the lyrics on there. From the Somewhere in England album. 1981, and here is the Dark Horse label. And this is backed with Writings on the Wall. And next we have Teardrops, also from 1981. This one just has a generic sleeve, which may not even be right, to be honest. In fact, I don't believe it is. And there's Save the World on the back. And here is the single, When We Was Fab, which takes George Harrison's face from the Revolver album, and it's got like a more modern painting of him in the same style as the Revolver album, so you can kind of compare the two. And it's a good cover, I think. Now, I know you can get this in like a little box set format as well, but I haven't got that. And it's backed with Zigzag. And it came out in 1988. And as I'm sure you'll notice, on the Dark Horse label here, it's got a barcode in the middle of the label. And if you look on the left there, it's produced by Jeff Lynne and George Housen, so I'd imagine this would have been recorded around the time that Travelling Wilburys began, which was George Housen's later band, with many famous names in it. And there's the B-side. And then here's just a duplicate copy of that single. And here's the next one, George Housen, Got My Mind Set on You. And it's backed with Lay His Head. And this is from the Cloud 9 album. And this was released in 1987, this one. And I'll show you the label, which it is still on Dark Horse Records, but it's not the usual colourful one. It's just this kind of generic silver one. And here's the B-side. And then here's another relatively modern one, and that's called Any Road. And this one came out in 2003. So actually, this is a posthumous single. This because of course George sadly died in 2001. So anyway, this is the back of the cover, and here's the label, which is a little hard to see, but it's got the same type of Dark Horse logo on as the previous ones. However, it's also got Parlophone down there, so Parlophone would have released this record as well. And this is the B-side. And this is it's an orange capital label American copy of My Sweet Lord. Of course, it's got the jukebox center, as is usual with the American releases. And this one is backed with "Isn't It a Pity," which is a different B-side to the UK edition of this. And that's 7 minutes 10 on the B-side. That's a very long song. And here is a reissue of, it's a release of All Things Pass on the purple capital label, backed with My Sweet Lord, but a version that was done in the year 2000, just before he died. However, this is on green vinyl. It's one of those jukebox promo ones. You can get a lot of the Beatles songs on coloured vinyl singles like this, but I've got a George Harrison one here, which is nice. Nice green vinyl. And just to finish up, I've got a couple of Travelling Wilburys singles to show. So the very first one I've got here is Handle with Care. Now, the members of the Travelling Wilburys were Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, George Harrison, Bob Dylan and Roy Orbison. So you had some very, very big names in this group, the Travelling Wilburys. And this is one of their singles, backed with Margarita. And this came out in 1988. And here is the label, again with the barcode right in the middle. This was on Warner Brothers Records. There's the B-side. And the very last thing I've got to show is a special limited edition copy of Travelling Wilburys Handle with Care, and it includes a free sticker. However, just before I show you the actual single, I've got the original bag that it came in here. Yeah, so this is the original little plastic bag it came with. I'm having to be extremely careful with this because it is very fragile. This top bar's only hanging on by a thread, so I'm having to be very careful with this. But this is a very nice thing to have, I think. I'll show you the other side. Got the Handle with Care, Travelling Wilburys. So that's cool. And anyway, here's the single itself, which I'll take out for you now. So it comes in this little pack here, and it opens up at the front with a little flap, like so. And I assume this here is the free sticker, which someone's already stuck to the card here, but even so, there it is. And the actual single comes out of the inside here. So I'll just get that out, nice and gently. There we go. And inside you get a copy of the conventional picture cover for Travelling Wilburys, and the record's just the same as the last one I've shown you. So, but there you go. That's the set. Okay, so that's the end of my George Harrison vinyl singles collection video. So I just want to say I really hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.